So I will walk you through. Okay, so the first one says name two acute vertical angles. Well, acute angles, as we reviewed yesterday, are smaller angles. Vertical angles are opposite one another. Something I see right here are acute vertical angles. This angle and this angle are vertical, and they're also acute. So my answer here will be angle FKG and angle EKH. Next, it says name two obtuse vertical angles. Well, this angle and this angle are vertical, and they're also obtuse. So angle EKF and HKG. I started writing in pencil so I can erase some of my marks so it doesn't get too crowded. Next, for numbers 3, it says name a linear pair. Linear pairs come together to form like a straight line like this. So that's what I'm looking at here. It looks like there's a lot of examples of that. So I'm just going to choose one. This one looks like it's most obvious. This angle and this angle form a linear pair. So angle HKE EKF. Oh. Next, it says name two acute adjacent. Adjacent means right next to each other. Here I see two acute angles right here, JKG and GKF. I'm erasing again. Number 5, name an angle complementary to EKH. So I look for EKH, it's right here. It doesn't look like anything is obviously complementary to it. Do you see that? Complementary means it would come together to form a right triangle, or right angle, I mean. And it's not obvious. Here's what they want you to do, and this is a concept that comes up later as well. Ready, Paxton? Okay, so notice that these two angles are vertical, right? That means this angle has the same measure as this angle. Over here, this angle is complementary to this angle. Do you see that? It's complementary to this one because of that little square.
Yes.
Since these two angles are identical, that means this must also be complementary to this angle.
Yep.
That makes sense? Do you want to explain that again? Okay, so we have vertical angles here. It wants to know which one's complementary to this angle. Since these two are identical and this one's complementary to this one, then this must also be complementary to this one. So GKJ is complementary to EKH. Six gets a little bit easier. Name an angle supplementary to FKG. FKG is right here, and angle supplementary GKH, because it would form a linear pair. Okay, now we bring in some algebra. It says find the measures of an angle and its complement if one angle measures 24 more than the other. Okay, so an angle plus the angle plus 24 equals 90 degrees. It takes a little practice to get it that simply. but it says one of the angles is 24 more than the other, so that angle plus 24. So this is like one angle, and then this is the other. Now we're going to solve for x. These parentheses were just to show you that that's one of the angles, but they don't really do anything. We can just add everything. X plus x is 2x plus 24 equals 90, and we can solve for x. 90 minus 24. So x equals 33. That is one of the angle measures. The other one is, if we add 24, we'll get the other measure, 57. You could have also done 90 minus 33 to get that number as well. And 8. The measure of the supplement of an angle is 36 less than the measure of the angle. Here's how you could write it. X plus x minus 36 equals 180. So you have one angle, the other angle is 36 less than that, and that equals 180. Then solve for x. 2x minus 36. Okay, so I got 108. That's one of the angle measures. The other one would be 180 minus 108, which is 72 degrees. You could have also subtracted 36 from the 108 to get 72. As you can tell, those are the harder ones of the lesson. Number 9, use this figure here. It says measure of RTS is 8x plus 18. RTS, 8x plus 18. Find the value of x so that TR is perpendicular to TS. If TR is perpendicular to TS, this must mean this is equal to 90 degrees. Then we can solve for x. So x equals 9. Okay, the next one says that PTQ is 3y minus 10 and QTR is y. Find the value of y so that PTR is a right angle. Well, if it's a right angle, then this plus this would equal 90 degrees. And that's how we'll set it up. 3y minus 10 plus y equals 90 degrees. Then solve for y. And y equals 25. Okay, now it gets simpler. It's nice that they start with like kind of simple stuff and they end with simple stuff, which is nice. 11, it says determine whether each statement can be assumed from the figure. In order for you to assume something, you have to have like some proof that it is absolutely correct. So in this case, it wants to know whether WZU is a right angle. Well, I look over here, WZU has that little square right there, and so that's your proof. So yes, you can assume that it's a right angle because there's a right angle symbol. Next, it asks if YZU and UZV are supplementary. Well, they form a linear pair, so therefore, yes, they are supplementary. Yes, because they're a linear pair. Next, it says VZU and YZX is adjacent. No, they're adjacent. They're vertical angles. So, no. There's no common side. On the back, I'm just going to do a few that are a little bit tricky, these. Number 9, it said we're determining if it's true. So NQO and OQP are complementary. Well, they sure look complementary. It looks like they come together to form a right angle, but there's no proof. There's no little square. So no, there's no proof. Next one, SRQ and QRP are linear pair. Yes, they are. And last but not least, MQN and MQR are vertical angles. No, they're adjacent. Okay, that is it. You'll have the rest of the time to work on your homework. If you have questions on the homework, please ask. I noticed that there were some that people were getting confused about. It's usually a pretty simple explanation, so if you aren't sure, just ask. And you can get your phones and get started.